Welcome, friends, to the second half of our second day on the 3-day program in London. I'm very happy to be back here again. I see a lot of happy faces here at this time. I see many smiles. The lunch must have been good. It's nice to have good food, but if you want to do meditation, then you have to be careful about what you eat. It makes a difference. A lot of people have asked me, what has food to do with meditation? Food is just for this body. Meditation is for our soul. So how does it matter what we eat? The truth is, it does matter. If you are serious about meditation, then it does matter. If you are not serious, you're just taking the spiritual path to be a matter of belief and faith, it doesn't matter. Then you can eat what you like. Because when we want to meditate like you tried in the morning and want to sit in the third eye center behind the eyes, then the power of concentration of attention is affected by the food you eat. It's very simple. Whatever food you take and the quantity of food you take affects your power to concentrate your attention. You can easily see when you read a book, you have a certain rate at which you read the book, say 1 minute a page or 2 minutes a page, depending upon the book and your style of reading. If you go and kill somebody and come back, you will not be able to read in 2 minutes that page. You won't be able to move on the page. Nothing has happened except that your power to concentrate the attention on the book has been somehow degraded. It's not the same. If you kill an animal and come and do this, then also it's affected. Every time you extinguish life of any kind, it affects your power to concentrate your attention. But you cannot survive except by extinguishing life. We can't live on stones. Even plants have life. Even when we are vegetarians, we still are eating vegetables which have life. And therefore, it's always that we extinguish some life to survive. The whole pattern of existence in this universe, whether it's human beings or it's animals or birds, they're all preying upon each other and they're killing life to survive. Some life survives on killing other life. But in order not to lower your power of concentration and make the best result in meditation, we try to extinguish life of the lowest order, which has the least impact on us. Therefore, if you kill an insect, it's not the same thing like killing a dog. It's certainly not the same thing killing a man. So there's a difference. In our ancient tradition, we used to divide the degree of life or the degree of consciousness in life by the number of elements that are in particular forms of life. For example, most of the vegetable kingdom has only one major predominant element, water. As we go on to other elements, we add on more. The snakes and other vermin like that have two, the birds have 3, mammals have 4, and we human beings have 5 elements. Then when they divide by elements, then of course the larger the number of elements, the higher evolved is the level of consciousness, sensitivity to reception of other things from outside. So different categories of life have been divided like that. In some of the scriptures contain a list of different species of life. And they count in that list 84 lakhs, 8.4 million species of life exist on this planet. Out of that, more than half, 5.4 billion, 54 lakhs, is in the animal kingdom itself. I mean in the vegetable kingdom itself, plants, in plant life. And then the others slowly. In the last section of 400,000, human being is included as one species. So the human being comes in the last category at the top. And it is supposed to be the top of creation. It has something no other form of life has. And that is the experience of free will. the experience of making your own choices. That is so unique. Nobody else has that. Therefore, hurting a human being is worse than stamping upon an ant. Even emotionally hurting. That is why they say don't hurt anybody. Because the human being's sensitivity is so great that if you hurt, it affects your meditation. You can try it. You shout with anger at somebody and then come and meditate, it will not be the same thing. Your power of concentration of attention is affected. So that is why food is only one item. It does not mean be vegetarian and then be angry with everybody and you'll make progress. Or that you hurt people in other ways and then say I'm a vegetarian so I'm making spiritual progress. Just being vegetarian doesn't make you spiritual. But if you are keeping control over your diet and practicing meditation and using the power of concentrating attention at third eye center, then diet does make a difference. And not only what you eat, how much you eat also matters. Supposing you gobble so much food, and of course I am not too wise to talk myself. Supposing you eat too much, it also affects you. So not merely what you eat, how much you eat, and also it should be consistent with the rest of your lifestyle. The rest of the lifestyle, are you peace and at peace with yourself? You have peace of mind, you don't get angry, you have controlled some of these things, and then coupled with the diet, it helps you to concentrate your attention better. And that is why we say eat light. What they used to describe as different kinds of food, and they call it the rajas, by the gunas, that there are 3 gunas and you should take the best out of those 3. And therefore, it's just a way of describing. You categorize the food and take the light, good food, sattvic food, which is the best for us, and it affects our meditation. It's basically for that reason. It is not to be made into a fad. People can go to such an extent that they can make it a fad. I went to Japan and I had met a Zen group there, Zen meditators, and they said the only food that can take you to self-enlightenment is rice. A particular kind of grain of rice, they produce grain of rice, like it's a special magic pill. I should put in my mouth that grain of rice and I'll go to Sachkhand or somewhere. No, there's no such food existing that I know of. That you can take a morsel of food and get enlightened, I don't know anything about that. I've never seen anybody getting that enlightenment. We can make a fad out of these things. But only as conscientious, as serious practitioners of meditation, if something helps in meditation, we should take advantage of it. So that is why I say that light vegetarian food, if you take, it will help you to meditate better. So just take note of that. And it doesn't really matter. You can get a lot of nice tasty food even in light vegetarian food. If somebody doesn't know what to eat, they can write to me and I'll send you a list of recipes, or I can send you what nice vegetarian foods you can make and eat lightly. It will help you. I was talking to you earlier about the law of karma and how karma is a requirement to be here. It's a requirement to be on the earth planet. It's a requirement to be in the physical body. Therefore, every moment of your stay in the physical body is based upon karma of the past. When we come back, depending upon what we did in the past, we have to pay off our karma. Get rewarded for good things we have done and get punished for bad things we have done. And we are ourselves the determinant of what is good and what is bad. And then accordingly we suffer or we enjoy this life. If it is all good stuff that we did, we won't be here. Because the beautiful heavens in the astral plane meant for people who have done all good. They go there. There are several types of heavens. And depending on the category of good work you have done, you are entitled to go there and stay there and have a good time. Because you have done all good. With your good intention, you made your life good. If you did all bad things, then there are also places, again in the astral overlap state, where you can go to hell. You cannot be a human being by doing all good things or all bad things. You can only be a human being if you have a mixture of the two. If you have ups and downs, then you can be a human being. If you are good and bad, you can be a human being. And because human beings alone have that extraordinary power of making a choice, of free will, therefore, it's a good idea to have a combination of good and bad. Some people say, let's always be good. Well, then your goal is not to go to your true home. Then your goal is to go to heaven. But if your goal is to go to your true home, a combination of good and bad is very good. And that's why we are human beings. And we have within ourselves, within our mind, the resources for being good and bad. The conscience I spoke of earlier determines, it speaks to us inside, this is good, do it, you are being kind, you are doing good things. And we follow that. Sometimes the mind, the other side of the mind, takes over, the left side of the mind. The right side says, do good things. It's called the intuitive mind. And the bad side of the mind, which is the rational mind, says, it is bad, but who cares? Because bad things seem to be more pleasurable somehow. So therefore, we get into the temptations and we create ideal conditions for being human beings. But then when we pay off karma, then we pay off in different situations. Now, by the way, one institution which helps us pay off karma quickly is called marriage. I was reading this morning that there are two things most difficult to do in life. One is to plant your ideas into somebody else's head. Very difficult. Second is to take other people's money from their pocket put into yours. Those who can do the first thing are called teachers. Those who can do the second thing are called businessmen. Those who can do both things are called wives. And those who fail in both are called husbands. Just an expression to show how, if you want to watch karma being speeded up, get married. So I am not against marriage. In fact, I myself sometimes encourage people. It is good to get rid of some of your heavy karma quickly. And then you'll be ready for a better journey later on. But karma has to be paid off. Everybody does it. Nobody, masters have come. Great saints have come. They all paid off karma. They all lived according to of karma. If you don't have karma, you don't live here. So everybody has to go through this pralabdha karma. And karma you can adjust a little bit. And then there is another thing called sanskar. That you are born with sanskar. What is sanskar is, it is more than the karma of one life. Karma of one life creates events according to that life. Sanskar creates attitude. What your attitude is toward things. Your style and attitude is dependent upon a cumulative effect of all your lives in the past. And that is sanskar. It's easier to change an event, more difficult to change your attitude. So the attitude comes up in everything that we do. So the sanskar really are more difficult to change. But if you do meditation, and even reasonable meditation, to be able to withdraw attention from your body, even sanskars start changing. So that's a very big change that takes place. And I have seen people who meditate, their attitude towards life changes. And it's a remarkable change. You notice, even other people can notice that. So this law of karma that we have to go through, we should go through cheerfully. There was an American doctor. He came to India and he became a disciple of great master. His name was Dr. Julian Johnson. And some of you may have seen some of his books. The better well-known one is The Path of the Masters by Julian Johnson. He was a surgeon and a physician in the United States. And he traveled to India as a missionary. He was part of a church and he was a missionary in Calcutta, in India. And there he was trying to teach people more about Christianity and even convert them to Christian faith. But he had heard from a couple in the United States, the Mr. and Mrs. Brock, who were there earlier and were initiates of the Great Master. He had heard from them that during your stay in India, you must meet this Great Master. He lives in Punjab, near the bank of a river called Bias, and the little township is also called by that name, and there's a small dera there, and one day you should go and see him. So, from Calcutta, he wrote a letter to the Great Master. He said, Master, I heard about you, I want to meet you, I want to learn about spirituality as you are teaching. I am following the Christian path and I am a missionary here in Calcutta, but I would like to know more about the true spiritual path that people say, you can tell me better. I want to learn about it. That Great Master asked his secretary to write to him that he can come by train. Calcutta mail comes from Calcutta all the way to Amritsar, and there no train won't stop in Bias. Train can either stop in Jalandhar, which is 25 miles earlier, or it can stop in Amritsar 25 miles later, and from there we can pick him up. But since Jalandhar comes first, we'll pick him up from Jalandhar. Then Great Master asked one of his attorney friends, Bhagat Singh, who lived next to the railroad station of Jalandhar, a house was just next door, that you go and receive him on the railway station, and he will be only one white man getting down from that train, so you won't have difficulty of knowing him. And then you bring him to the dera and I'll meet him. So a letter went out to Julian Johnson that you are invited to come and meet the Master and come by this train, and this man, Bhagat Singh, will receive you at Jalandhar station. After the letter went, Great Master said to Bhagat Singh, let's play a little trick on this guy. Now when I tell this story, people feel very surprised. These great masters play tricks? I can tell you they're very mischievous. I'm not joking. They are very playful, and because God is playful. Do you know, they say this world has been created with his mauj. You know what is mauj? They say, have mauj, means have fun. And therefore, when they say his mauj created, they try to translate mauj into English as will. It is his will that created. That's not a correct translation. The correct translation would be a very playful will. Because they are playful people. They love to play. I think the whole world has been created as their playground. So therefore, Great Master said to Bhagat Singh, let's play a game on this guy coming from America. And what we will do, that you have asked him to come to the dera and get down in Jalandhar. When he gets down from the train, tell him, you know, there's no hurry, you have come after a long journey, let's go home and have a cup of tea, and then we'll drive to the dera. And he will say, no, I have not come for a cup of tea. I would like to go and meet the Master as soon as I can. But you keep on insisting. No, you're very tired, you come home. He'll get very irritated and angry with you. But when you bring him home, I will go and hide inside your house. So when he comes, I will give him a surprise. So that's exactly what happened. So Julian Johnson comes by train. Bhagat Singh is on the station, receives him and says, Dr. Johnson, you had a long trip overnight, 3 nights you have been traveling. Let's go home, have a cup of tea, and then I'll drive you to the dera. He said, no, I have not come for tea. I have come to see the Master. I'm in a little bit of a hurry to go and see him. And Bhagat Singh said, no, sir, you know it's a long journey. My house is just next door. So Julian Johnson got very irritated and angry, as was predicted. But somehow he brought him to the house. And he said, Dr. Johnson, I have a little surprise for you. And took him inside his living room, and the Great Master was sitting. I think the surprise affected Julian Johnson more than anything else. Because he was shocked. He said, you've come here to receive me, to see me? And the great master said, you have come thousands of miles to see me. I have just come 25 miles to see you. It's not a big deal. And he said, he sat there looking at the man. He had so many things to discuss with him. He sat for 2 hours. They had some cup of tea or something. And then for 2 hours, and he wrote a letter at night to his friends in the United States. He said, I have sat near this man, and the effect it had on me is such that if I get nothing more than what I got today, it will be worthwhile coming to this place. He said, I could ask no questions. Questions seemed to disappear in front of him. It was his love, his smile, his radiance affected me so much. There's something is there which affected me so much. And then later on, of course, he meditated, got initiated, meditated a lot. He wanted to because he was late in his life. He was already old when he came. He said, I have very few years left in my life and I should be able to catch up. He meditated many hours a day. He also found out that there were some sadhus, some hermits and sadhus who had renounced the world, and when they came to Great Master, he set up separate area for them to meditate because they were all in meditation and no other duties to perform. And some of them had dug up some caves on the bluff of the river Bias. So Johnson went and dug his own cave. So he had more resources, so he made a better cave. And he put a little wooden door also outside. The other people were just sitting in a cave without a door. I remember I also took the chance to sit in Johnson's cave. So it was a beautiful place. And when you closed it, it looked like there was a resounding sound there all the time because of the cave, I think, or because of the quietness there. There's something unique about that. And he meditated for long hours, 8 hours at a time. And he got a lot of experiences. Some of the experiences that frightened him were the experiences of his past lives. He saw his past life, one after the other. He went right to the age when he was a caveman. And in one moment of anger, he was almost going to throw his own child into a well and break his head. Fortunately, he didn't do it. When he saw all those pictures or images of his own self, he said, I must be extremely lucky that I am now been able to find a master who can take me beyond all karma. When he saw the pattern of karma going on. And these things he shared with me because I was very young. But since I was going to school, in English-speaking school, and not many kids could speak the English language, he used to chat with me and we used to go walk to the river together and sometimes go to see the Great Master carry his chair. Great Master used to go sometimes sit near the river. So I got a chance to talk to the man. And he would ask Great Master, please help my friends. Somebody is sick. Can you help him? Great Master would say, okay, I will ask my master, Baba Jamal Singh Ji, I will ask him to help. He said, Master, that person is having a problem in his marriage. Can you help? All right, I'll do that. After 2-3 years, he told me, what have I been asking for? I didn't realize that this karmic pattern, that we have been given a platter of good and bad things that happen to us, is the very foundation of our being able to be a seeker, to be able to have free will to seek. This was a secret by which we could get beyond this creation and go to our true home. He said, never again am I going to ask Master for these kind of things to intervene in the physical karma of somebody. And Great Master also explained to him that you should accept cheerfully. It's like a game that you have ups and downs. But if this suffering is too much, or you feel something is unbearable, certainly you can come for divine intervention. And there is divine intervention which seems to change your destiny. Now, I must mention divine intervention is at a different level. For example, here we are in the physical world. Can we change our destiny? Yes. I had decided to go by a plane in the morning. I change my destiny, go in the evening. It's so simple. I can change my mind. If I was a woman, I would change it every day. We change our mind all the time. So therefore, if we had no other awareness and no other belief system, the only thing we had was the physical experience, we are making our destiny every day by making decisions every day. When you go to the astral plane, you find that what we thought we were making decisions here were made earlier there. We were just repeating them without knowing it. Because we were thinking on the lines to make a decision which is pre-written already. We thought it was totally free selection here, but selection had been made earlier. We only find out there. Then we can say, no, this destiny that we are seeing here is not made by its predetermined. I had an experience I sometimes mentioned about meeting a Sikh gentleman, Sardarji, in Lucknow once. I had gone for a Navy interview, and as I came out of the interview, and there was a gentleman standing, and he said, "Good luck." And I had met another man saying good luck earlier, so I thought he's the same kind of person. He said, "Do you have a piece of paper?" I said, yes. So I gave him a piece of paper. He wrote something, looking at my eyes, writing something on that piece of paper. I said, "I don't know what he's writing." Small piece of paper, he folded it and gave it in my hand. Then he said, "Do you have more piece of paper?" I said, yes. I was carrying a whole notebook with me. He said, "Now on your piece of paper, write a number between 1 and 10. And I thought to myself, this man is trying to play an ordinary trick we used to play as children ourselves. When we used to say, think of a number between 1 and 10, everybody thought 5. He is assuming that I will write 5, and I am going to call off his bluff. So I wrote 3. He said, "Write the name of a flower." I said, "Everybody is writing the name rose, which is the most common flower, and I am not going to write that. I want to show him that he can't be right to try to guess what I've written, what I'm writing." So I thought of a flower, and I said, in Punjab we call that flower chameli. That's nice. So I wrote CHAMELI on that paper. He said, "Write your date of birth." I wrote 1926. He looked at it. He said, "That is your year of birth, not your date." So I put the date after the year. Normally we put the date before the year. He said, "Now open the paper I gave you earlier," which was still in my hand. I opened that paper. It said 3, Chameli, 1926, and then the name. Exactly in the order in which I wrote. Now my surprise was that he wrote that before I decided what to write. So I was still stunned when he said to me, "Shall I tell you more?" I said, "Please go ahead. I'm already quite shocked by what you have done. Tell me something more." He said, "I'll tell you that when I asked you to write a number between 1 and 5, you said he thinks I will write 5, but I will write 3. He knew my thought process. And when I said, "Write the name of a flower," you said he's expecting me to write rose. I'll write a flower he hasn't heard of. It's from Punjab, and this is the name. He knew exactly what I will think 5 minutes later. It's not that I was thinking and he was reading my thoughts. He read my thought before I thought them out. What does it mean? It was a clear evidence to me that even the way we think our decisions are pre-written. And yet because we think and make decisions, we think we are making them now. Now when we reach the astral stage of consciousness, we discover that what was happening here was pre-written, predetermined, the whole of it. Then what is the role of divine intervention? If divine intervention takes place, we find that what was written there did not happen. And therefore there was real intervention. That what was written there did not happen neither there nor here. It changed. So the intervention was real. But then you go higher up to the causal plane and you find even divine intervention was written there. So even that was predetermined that you will get divine intervention. So it depends on the level. Every time you have a super divine intervention, that even the whole cosmic records, even the Original DVD can be changed. You go to your true home, it was all predetermined there. So when we say, is life predetermined, or are we making our decisions here and creating our destiny? Both are correct, depending upon which level you speak of, which level you are talking about. So at each level, you will find that the divine interventions do take place in order to alleviate a heavy karma that we have. And that's part of the process that we find that the perfect living master who comes into our life also performs divine interventions at the times when we need them most. And therefore helps us to cross over some difficult paths of our karma. It's a very interesting thing how this law of karma is operating. There are some features of it that are almost unbelievable. I read the life of Lord Krishna. People worship Krishna. And I said I should go and examine where people live in his territory. And in the Uttar Pradesh, I went to Mathura and all the area where Krishna grew up. And I saw people all in so much happiness singing praise of Krishna. And one group of gardeners, Malis, who were working there, would sit in the evening and sing. And with faces glowing with happiness. The chant they would sing would be, Are Udho Karman ki gat nyari se. Krishna is telling his childhood friend Udho, the nature of karma is very strange. That's they go on repeating that refrain. So I had to understand how they are going on thinking this is the best song they can sing, that the nature of karma is very strange. Because the story is that Udo, who was a young boy and a friend of Krishna in his childhood, they both were going to take care of cows. They were cowherds. And one day Krishna told Udo, karma is such a strange thing. Look at this ant crawling here. And he points to an ant crawling on the ground. And he says, this ant at one time was Brahma, the creator of this universe. At another time, he was Indra, the lord of one of the heavens in the astral plane. Because of his karma, in spite of what he achieved, he still is an ant today. How could you believe that if somebody has gained so much of enlightenment, gone to such a high level, should become an ant again? So he explains, the law of karma is so strange because the good things you do not wipe out the bad things you do. They both stand. There is no real atonement by changing your actions. You can do good things and you'll be rewarded. You do bad things, you can be punished. You can simultaneously, after death, go to heaven for some time and hell another time. You could qualify with your karma to have heaven. Say you can qualify to spend 1 month in heaven and 1 month in hell because of the karma. You are not given much choice about the punishment and reward you are getting. One choice you do get at the last moment of your life. When you are about to die in the physical body, you actually have a look back on your life. It appears that it flashes in front of you. All the events of your life backwards, from immediately before you die, those scenes, and they go backwards to your childhood. And you see all those flashes of your own life. And then you discover what is good, what is bad, what have I done, and that's the basis of most of your next life coming up. Also at that time, you also discover that something you did were bad enough to justify a 1 month in hell. You also did such good things in life, especially after doing bad things. You wanted to reform yourself, atone for things. You did good things to spend 1 month in heaven. The only last choice when you die is, where do you want to go first? Final choice. That's the only free will left. You want to go to hell first or heaven first? So because people choose differently, so I'm just going to ascertain a general opinion from you. Supposing you got a chance to spend 1 month in heaven and 1 month in hell, who will choose heaven first? And who will choose hell first? The hells are the winners. Could you imagine? More people want to go to hell first? I can understand. I can understand the reasoning behind both choices. I can understand that people who chose hell, and which are in the majority here, they said, if we go to heaven first and think we'll have to go hell, they'll make hell out of the heaven also. I understand that. And those who chose heaven first, they thought maybe in heaven we may be able to skip out hell altogether. Both have their justification. But I'm telling you, the nature of karma is so strange, in which we are caught up here. But we have to go through it. And it is after lot of good karma, accumulated over a lot of time, that we get a chance to seek our own true home. The seeking comes from the soul. We are all seekers. We are all seekers, but we don't know what we are seeking. We all feel something is missing and we don't know what is missing. We all feel lonely at some point inside, and we try to make up and cover up our loneliness by making friends here, going into company here, doing various kind of activities here. Most of them are just to overcome our loneliness. The reason is that all the activities we have here are all mental activities. We don't do spiritual activities. Mental activities are dealing with people, talking to people, having your pleasures of life, eating food, having sex, having companionship, marrying, children, families, all that is all mental stuff going on from the mind. Spiritual thing is to rely upon your intuition inside, to have an experience of unconditional love, to have those experiences, to enjoy bliss and beauty which we can't see outside. We don't have those experiences. So it's heavily weighted into mental activities. But the seeking inside is different. There is a difference between seeking and desiring. Desires come from the mind. Seeking comes from the soul. Seeking comes for overcoming basic loneliness. And seeking is to find our own true home and go into totality where we are not separated. Seeking is an end of separation, whereas other things we look with our mind. So we are seekers, but when we become seekers and we reject the offers of companionship and pleasures of this world and say, this is not what I want more, then you are ready. Then you're ready for going on a spiritual journey. It's at that time that a perfect living master appears in our life. At that time, he checks how ready we are. And if we are ready, he gives us something which, according to me, is the most important event of life. He accepts us as a disciple, as somebody for whom he becomes responsible, and takes the responsibility to be with us all the way till we reach our true home, Sachkhand, no matter how long it takes, no matter under what circumstances it may be. That's a very big thing. We call it the grant of real Naam, we call it initiation, we call it by different forms of acceptance, so we call it Diksha, we call it true Diksha. Different words have been used, but they all mean that the perfect living master, a Sant Satguru, has accepted us to take us back home, to our true home. This acceptance can be verified only by going inside. Outside, anybody can make a promise. People say, we were initiated by a guru. Are we really initiated? I said, if you were, you would know it. I mean, if you're still questioning it, there's something missing. I said, there is no way you can find out from outside. Anybody can say that. But go inside and check if your master is inside and is taking you throughout the journey with you. Then you are initiated. Yes. So it's a complete companionship forever. The only step required, if you are initiated by a perfect living master, the only step required for you to take is to go to Third Eye Center, which we were practicing meditation this morning. That's the only step you require. If you are able to establish yourself there, apart from the other sights and visions that you might see, you'll see your own master there, the one who has initiated you. And he will hold you there with himself and take you back home. Such a master has to be a living person. A living person is necessary to establish that kind of relationship outside so that we have the same relationship inside. Supposing it's not a living person, then who is our master? Our master is our mind. We're making up things with our own mind. People say, I have a master living very far away from the mountains and he's guiding me from inside. Who is guiding that person? His own mind. He's making up all those things. There's nobody to tell him, no, this is not true. This is not what I am saying. But a master in a human living form can tell us, what you're making up is your mind. This is not true. But if you only think in your own mind, you are a servant of your own mind. Then your mind is your master. That is a very important thing to remember. The living master shall be alive in a human form and become our friend. A master is a friend first, a master next. It's not that way, other way around, that he is a master, therefore he becomes a friend. He first becomes a friend, we know him as a friend, and then we discover within that he is a master. Discovery of the master takes place when we go within ourselves and find out that he was our master and taking care of us, is holding our hand. Sheikh Farid, a great mystic, had his own master, Sheikh Qutbuddin. And Sheikh Farid, when he was still a disciple of Sheikh Qutbuddin, he told his son, son, Qutbuddin has got old. He may pass away in the physical body any time. Please go and get initiated while he is here. It's a great opportunity. And the son, like both sons, said, Dad, I am still young and I am going around life and, I have plenty of time. I mean, you are old, you are saying this. Let me get a little old and I'll then get initiated by Qutbuddin. And one day Qutbuddin died. When the son heard Qutbuddin is dead, his body is lying there, he ran, he shaved off his head, which was the custom there, put his head on the feet of the dead master. And Sheikh Farid is standing there and telling him, son, this is the body of a man I have more respect and love than the whole world. I would sacrifice everything for this, but you are not able to meet the master. He's dead. He's gone. It's only corpse lying here. It can do nothing for you. And then Farid tells his son, only if you can hold the hand of the Sheikh while he's alive, can you say that you have met a master. Otherwise, all your own mind that's working. So this is so important that when we talk of a perfect living master, we're not talking of somebody, some image, somebody far away, somebody way back in the past. We're talking of one living right now in our midst, whose hand we can hold, who we can be friends with. And that is how a perfect living master works. Masters always have a list of people they choose. They come with that mandate. Masters are that Shabad, that word I talked of, the creative power manifested as human beings, so we can join back on the same creative power and reach our true home. In that case, they come as human beings in a limited area of this planet. They can't be all over the planet. They come in a little limited area. They make friends with the people. That's in their mandate, that they should be taken back home. Those souls are crying for that time, and they appear for a particular soul. Which means a master is not a master for everybody. He's not a general master that he is covering the universe. He's come for particular souls who are on his list. And he takes up his list. This is metaphorically I'm talking. He takes up a list and says, these are the souls, they are located in these places, and I have to appear before them by coincidence, by circumstances, and he appears, becomes friends, and ultimately becomes the master and takes them back home. But many others see that master also in the process. Because while they are looking for these marked souls, these marked people who are marked to go with them, they also see many others. The others benefit from seeing the master. But they are not chosen by that master to go back with him. In the Bible, they say, many are called, but few are chosen. They said the same thing in different scriptures, that the choice that these mystics come for is two kinds. One, those who have come to take back home right in that very life. This is the last life for which these people have come. And those whom they give their darshan, whom they mark for future, and other masters then take them back in due course. I just out of convenience call them list A and list B. I say there are names a master carries in list A who are marked to go back, and those in list B who will be taken back, not necessarily by the same master, but they have taken the advantage of being marked now for being taken back. So it's a interesting phenomenon that when you come across these masters, you can be taken back, same life, if you are in list A, or you can be in list B, and just having a darshan of a master gives you the qualification to be taken back later on. And it can be a few lifetimes later. It does not mean same life. It can be few lifetimes later. But if you are initiated by a master who's in list B, and he can initiate you. If he initiates a person on list B, that person can have a subsequent life, but will find a master no matter what, and he will not have more than 4 human lives, including the first life. That will be 3 more. This business of 4 lives has bothered many people. They say that it's, who was bothered by this? I'll tell you a little story. This gentleman whose photo you see here, Hazur Maharaj Baba Sawan Singh, my master. We call him Great Master, Bade Maharaji, Great Master. He was bothered when his master, Baba Jaimal Singh, told him in the presence of 14 other disciples, told him that you will carry on my work now at the Dera Byas on the bank of the river Byas. He said, Babaji, why are you asking me to do this work when more advanced people are sitting right here in front of you? And Baba Jaimal Singh said, let me check it with my master Swamiji. So Baba Jaimal Singh closed his eyes and went inward, apparently to talk to Swamiji. And after a little while opened his eyes and he said, there is great Mauj. And then Baba Sawan Singh says, what is the Mauj? He said, the Mauj is, Swamiji says, only Sawan Singh will do this work. Sawan Singh asked many questions at that time. He said, Master, do you know I am working as an engineer? I live in a very nice, comfortable house. And I have seen you, Babaji, living in 2 little huts on the river. Are you expecting me to leave all that house and sit in those 2 huts so that I am doing your work here? And Baba Jaimal Singh said, wait, let me check it out. He closed his eyes, opened, said, Mauj has come. He said, what is the Mauj now? He says, Mauj is that Swamiji says that you will not have to live in those huts, you will have a house which will not be worse than the house you are living in now. And then he had more questions. He was a very interesting guy, I must say, my master, because he made all things clear in the beginning. He said, but do you know, I'll be getting a little pension. You're expecting me to feed all the people who come. You're saying many people will come here. How will I feed them with a little pension? He said, wait, let me check that too. He never gave an answer on his own. He would check everything. He closed his eyes and went into some kind of introspection inside and opened his eyes, says, new Mauj has come. And he said, what is the Mauj now? He says, Mauj is that you don't have to worry. People will bring enough donations and food. They will feed themselves and go. You don't have to spend money from your pension to feed them. And so on. Finally, he asked this question. He said, Babaji, I understand that if a disciple is initiated by a perfect living master, he can come into this life not more than 4 times. Now, if you ask me to initiate people, and I will initiate and they will come 4 times, I'll have to come with them every time. I am trying to get rid of this world myself today, and you want to put me down for 4 more lives. That was the question he asked. And Baba Jaimal Singh said, let me check that too. So he closed his eyes. He said, new Mauj has come. And that's an important thing. He says, the Mauj is that Savan Singh, any person that you initiate will not come back again. Therefore, that will be his last life. Then he felt satisfied. He said, all right, I will carry out your orders. So the point I was making is that when we talk of 4 lives, it does not mean that everybody has to come 4 lives. My father, my dad, Lekhraj Puri, he was also a disciple of great master and had met many of these great advanced satsangis. One day he could not attend a meeting, a satsang of the great master. In that satsang, great master had said that once a person is initiated by a perfect living master, he will not come more than 4 lives. So, since my dad missed that satsang, in the evening he met great master. He said, Master, is it true that you said today that if a person is initiated by a perfect living master, he will not come more than 4 times? And great master laughed and he said, Lekhraj, why are you worried? This is your last life anyway. And my father said, Master, I was not thinking like that. I was thinking, supposing I want more than 4 lives. Are you putting a ban on me? He said, why would you like more than 4 lives? He said, because I hear some masters come again and again. Supposing you decide to make more than 4 visits again, you want to leave me behind alone in Sachkhand? Anyway, it was a humorous situation. Then great master explained to people who were sitting there. He said, if a perfect living master initiates you, and you do your duty by following his instructions as best as you can, this is your last life. You don't come again. If you cannot do that, and you know that you are failing in carrying out the instructions the master gives when he initiates you, you may come for 1 more lifetime. But if you completely leave this path and go away and leave it, this meant nothing to you, the mind overtakes you, you may have to come a 3rd time. Only if you go against the master, crucify him, kill him, you come 4th time. So 4 times is not for everybody. Everybody, if they follow the instructions, this is their last life. And they go back home. Since there is always some questioning about this 4 life business, I thought I'll share this with you. The list A is created before we are born. And when we are on list A, master will be in our life at the right time. Our readiness will be determined, and he'll initiate us and take us back home. No matter what. It's not a question of how much meditation we will do. It's not a question of how keen we are or not keen. That has been judged already. Our readiness has been judged. That is when we are being picked up for list A. If it is list B, that can be achieved. I shouldn't categorize BA and B1 and B2. Anyway, never done this before. It depends upon if we have a darshan of a perfect living master. Darshan means looking at his face. When you look at the face of a perfect living master, although it's in human form, you are actually seeing the face of a human being in whom the awareness is of Sachkhand right there. It's not an ordinary experience. We think we are just looking at somebody. We are looking to the eyes of a person who is at that very moment sitting in Sachkhand where we want to go. It's not that he has gone and come back. He is there. So that is so powerful that if you have one darshan, you're guaranteed to be on list 2, list B. But it may take 3, 4, 5 lifetimes before you actually go back home, depending on the improvement in the karma and improvement in readiness and your seeking and so on. But if the master looks at you which we call drishti. Drishti is more subtle and more effective than even darshan. Then within 1 or 2 lifetimes, you will get initiated by a perfect living master and go back home. So it's such a powerful thing. I remember my father used to tell me that after I learned that darshan is so important, the best thing I could do for my friends was to take them and just make master, just look at the master. I've done my duty, now you can go. You don't have to ask anything, don't have to get anything. Just look at him and go. He said, I've done the best for my friends. But sometime there was another guy, very good satsangi, and his name was Dr. Ishwar. He was a veterinary doctor, animal doctor. And he was also in Kapurthala state, which I mentioned yesterday. In Kapurthala state, he looked after the horses and the animals of the Maharaja of Kapurthala, the prince of the state. But he was a keen seeker of truth. So he used to go to all the saints and holy people who would come and try to learn something. He had a couple of Muslim neighbors who were disciples of Great Master. And one day they told him that what you are looking for, you constantly go and meet these holy people. There's a man with a white beard. He's a perfect master. He lives on a little dera on the bank of this river Byas. It's 3 miles down from the Grand Trunk Road. So if when you go, you see him and you'll be able to find the truth. You'll really get to know the true mystic. So one day after work, Ishwar Singh took his bicycle and he went down to see the Great Master. He travelled 3 miles, 4 miles, 10 miles. There was no dera and no master. About 10, 11 miles down, it got very dark and there was a ferryman. A ferry used to cross a ferry bridge and a ferry boat crossing on the river. And he met that man. He says, I have been searching for a dera. They say it's only 3 miles away. I have come about 10, 11 miles. I don't see it. He says, oh man, that's on the other side of the river. You are on the Delwan side. There's the other side of the river. So you come the wrong way. He said, can you take me on your ferry to the other side of the river? So I'll walk up the other side, go on my bike. There's no bike trail there. There's no pathway. It's just forest. There's only one village for which the ferry works. And they come this side to go anywhere. He said, no, I can go through the forest. I have to go and meet this master. I'm very keen to see him. My neighbors told me he's a perfect living master. So he persuaded somehow that ferryman to take him in the middle of that late evening. It was almost dark. And the ferryman took him the other side. He warned him, there are wild animals there. There's no pathway. Be careful. But he went there. There was no pathway. Thorny bushes around. He carried the bicycle on top of his head to walk up. Sometimes he would lose the way. Sometimes he could find the way. Ultimately, he went up, and early morning, at dawn, he reached that 2 little huts where Great Master was coming, staying there. Because he used to come only on the weekends to give discourses. He knocked on the door, and an angry woman opened the door. And he had heard about that angry woman, because he knew her name is Rukko, Bibi Rukko. So that lady comes out and abuses him, uses the most vulgar language for him, and shouts at him with anger. And he says, I know this woman has been with Great Master. This woman has been with Babaji, Jaimal Singh. This woman has been with Swamiji. She has come from there. If it's spending her life with 3 masters and not taken her anger away, what am I going to get here? This was all false, that this master is a great guy. He couldn't even take care of this one woman. How will he take care of my soul? So disappointed, he came back and he told his neighbors, you are all wrong about this master. I met that woman and she was so angry, used such foul language. And if she has spent so many years with these 3 masters and has not improved at all, what will I get from them? Get from this master? And those neighbors laughed and smiled at him. He said, why are you smiling? I am telling you how that woman behaved. He said, Master played a trick on you. He said, what kind of trick did he play? He said, did you go to see the master or the woman? He said, I went to see the master. Did you see him? No, you saw the woman and came back. Master put the woman in front of you to test you. How serious are you to see the master? You came away after seeing the woman. Next time you'll see she's one of the kindest women that you'll meet. It was a test for your test, you failed. He said, oh, they'll make some sense. I'll try again. Now I'll try again. I'll go in the daytime. I know where the dera is. So next time, another weekend, when he knows master comes on Saturdays, gives a discourse in the evening at 5 o'clock. Then he gives a short discourse in the morning and goes back to work. He was still a working engineer, road engineer. So he went. He said, let me go in the evening. So he knew that there was a lot of land around the dera belonging to one of the chiefs, one of the big sardars of that area who owned the land. And this doctor was also taking care of his horses and animals. So he told the chief, let's go. We'll go and see your land and then we'll go and see that master who lives on the river. The chief said, I'm not going there. He said, why? He said, I understand whoever goes there never comes back. I am not going to take that risk. There is some kind of magic going on and I am not going with you. He tried to persuade him, let's go, we can from a distance see this man. We'll stop at a distance and see this man. So they both went on their horses, and when they reached, the master had just begun giving a discourse. He had a book in his hand. He was reading from the book, and then he was explaining what he read. The books was something in poetry or something in Hindi. He would read that, then explain it in Punjabi to the people sitting there. About 20 people were sitting there. So they tied up their horses and stood at a distance. And great master saw that two people have come. He put his book down and told them to come. Like this, he gave a little sign. And Ishwar Singh says to the chief, Chief, he's calling you. He knows this is your land. He said, no, he's not calling me, he's calling you. So they had little disagreement who was being called. So they decided to separate. That one went this way, one stood there to see now who is being called. So great master looked at both of them and looking at Ishwar Singh, he called him. So he came up and he said, sit down. So Ishwar Singh sat at the back. Great master picked up the book and then he saw that Ishwar Singh was sitting at the back. He put the book down and told him, come and sit in front. So Ishwar Singh walked up and sat in front. And great master took that book and read from the book and answered the questions which Ishwar Singh had for years. And Ishwar Singh said, now I know this secret book he has got in his hand. That is what is the real secret that makes him a great master. So when the discourse ended, he said, Master, can I borrow this book that you are having in your hand? And great master said, no, I can't give this book. So his anxiety increased, that this is in the book, everything. He said, Master, can I have the book only for tonight? I will read it tonight while you sleep, and in the morning I'll give it back to you. And great master said, no, sometimes I get up in the middle of the night and I have to read the book. He said, Master, I have got 75 rupees with me, which is a lot of money in those days. I am willing to give you the 75 rupees if you let me read the book one night. He said, even if you gave me a million rupees, I won't give you the book. Of course, later on he found out next day the book is available for 2 rupees everywhere. But that was something especially for him. He told me, Ishwar Singh told me, had the master given me that book that night, I would never have gone back to him. I would have been reading that book all my life. So the master did all that and he said, what kind of master are you that you can't spare this book? He said, sorry, I can't spare the book. So he went back. Then again, those people told him, go and buy the book, it's available. It's Sar Bachan. In a verse, it's just a book published by the Swamiji's organization in Agra. It's nothing big thing. It's a common book. He's just using that. He uses other books also to give his discourses from. Because there were no chanters or parties at that time. The great master did it himself. So he said, I did not know, that was just a trick again played on me. The book trick this time. I must go now and ask for initiation. I think I am beginning to believe that this master has something, because he plays tricks like this. And I am falling in love with him, the way he plays with me. So one evening he again went. At about 5 o'clock, master was sitting outside the hut. And Ishwar Singh says, Master, I want Naam. Please initiate me. Great master said, have you broken your arm? He said, is that a requirement for initiation? He said, no, it's not a requirement. It just happened that your time for initiation is written after you break your arm and you get it healed and come to me, I will initiate you. Just a question of timing. He said, Master, why should I break my arm? He said, you know, sometimes you fall from a horse. Sometimes you can have an accident. These things happen in life. He said, Master, I have been riding on horses all this time. Why would I break my arm by riding a horse? He said, you know, it depends on the horse. The mood of the horse can be such. Some things can happen. He said, Master, this is very strange that you want me to break my arm, but I'll go and I'll come again and seek Naam from you later on. When he went back to Kapurthala, his wife, whose name was Maya, she told him, where have you been all day? The prince, Maharaja of Kapurthala, has been calling you all day. He sent 5 messages already. He must be very angry at you. Go to the palace and check out what happened. And Ishwar Singh said, maybe some animal of his, some horse or camel or somebody is sick and he's calling me. So he rushed to the palace, and there the Maharaja was sitting on his throne. And he said, where have you been all day? And Ishwar Singh said, I went to see one Maharaji. He said, what Maharaji? I am the only Maharaja. There is no other Maharaja. He says, no, there is a master there. There is a Satguru there. And we call him Maharaji. He says, look, you are a very intelligent man. Don't believe in these things. They are superstitions. The Maharaja told him. And what do you know why I called you? Because only this morning I got 2 new horses. Straight from Arabia. Arabian steeds. I got, and I have been waiting for you to come so we can inaugurate and launch the horses. I will ride one, you ride the other. Ishwar Singh said, Maharaj, I will not ride the horse. He said, why? I don't want to break my arm. He says, you have been riding horses with me every day. What has happened to you today? He said, that Guru told me that I'll break my arm. He said, you believe in the superstitions? No, come on. Just excuse me today. I don't feel like riding a horse. He said, look, just to save my face. Everybody is waiting since morning. What we'll do, let's both get onto the horse. And I'll ride off and you get down and go home. He said, that's all right. So they both got onto the horses, and the horse on which Ishwar Singh was just quick shot off. And there was a small stone on which it tripped. The horse fell down. Ishwar Singh underneath had a multiple fracture of the right arm right there. He said, that Guru is really powerful. I didn't believe him, but now I believe him fully. So we were put in plaster. He got calcification of the shoulder and the elbow. He could move. After it took much longer to heal. When plaster was taken off, he found calcification. He couldn't move his arm too much. But he went back to Great Master. He said, Master, I broke my arm and I've come back for initiation. He said, all right, raise your right hand to your ear. He said, Master, I can't do that. It's calcification here. He said, then I can't initiate you. He says, what kind of master are you every time you put a new condition? He says, no, it's not a new condition. I told you, when your arm is broken and healed, then come to me. It's not healed. He says, Master, how can it be healed? It's a calcification. It's just permanently fixed like this. He said, do you treat horses? If a horse injures his leg and gets calcification, how do you treat it? You don't shoot him. He said, there is a very painful treatment. We use strong nitric acid and we use other acids to resolve this calcification. It is so painful. The horse hits the ground, almost makes a hole in it. It's such a painful process. Great Master said, why don't you try it? He said, Master, I'll die if I try. He said, no, you dilute that acid. Dilute the acid in turpentine oil or something. And what is the ratio you use for the horse? Make it 1/16 of that and try it. Then come back to me. So he tried that. He said it was painful, but he survived. And then he went and Great Master initiated him. People who got initiation with that kind of experience, they appreciated what initiation was. And he then knew that this is a perfect living master that I was waiting for. He said, if I get my father to have his darshan, that is the best thing I'll do as a son, dutiful done. As beautiful son, I should get my father to see this man. So he went home and told his dad, Dad, I want you to see this master. Dad said, I am never going to see that master. There is no master. I am a Sikh, belong to Sikh tradition and culture and religion. Guru Granth Sahib, our holy book, is the only master. There can be no other human master. Therefore, don't even suggest this to me. He said, but Bapu, Dad, why don't you just come and see the man? He said, I'm never going to see him. No way. You can't persuade me. He tried very hard to persuade his father to come and just have a look at the great master. Father refused. Then one day he tried to play a trick on him. He knew great master was going on a trip by railway train. And he asked the master, Master, you are going on by train. And when you are at the platform, there will be still about 10 minutes before the train comes. Can I, by hook or crook, bring my father to the station and make him see you? Great Master said, certainly. I tell you, Great Master said, you bring him to me. That's your job. I will initiate you. Initiate your father. That's my job. That was very exciting for him. I have just to bring him there. So one day, when the master was leaving by train, I'm telling you these old stories, they're very interesting, for me at least. One day, when great master was about to go on a train, he told his father, Dad, he used to call him Bapu, Bapu, can we just go to the station together? I have some work with the station master there. Bapu said, come on, I'll go with you. So they both came by horses. And he said, Bapu, hold my horse and I will just go and meet the station master and come back. He's all right. He held the horse of Ishwar Singh and his own horse by the reins. And Ishwar Singh ran down because the platform there is a little below there. You have to run down to go to the platform at Byas. So he ran down. Great master was there waiting for the train with a number of people. He said, Master, I brought Bapu with me. He's up there. Will you come and give him darshan? And great master said, certainly. And they both ran. And look at the spectacle in your mind. We're talking of a perfect living master. And how playful he is. He said, let's run to see the man. And they both run up. They both run, but by the time they reach on the top, the father suspected there's some mischief here. And he had left his horse and gone away. He never saw. So he said, sorry, Ishwar Singh, your dad has left. I couldn't see him. But my promise stands. You bring him to me, that's your job. To initiate him is my job. And Ishwar Singh would wonder, how can my father be initiated by him, even if I bring him? Because he doesn't believe in all this. So one day he said, let me try a different method. So early morning, when his father was sleeping on that little cot, he brought a rope and tied the rope around him. On the bed itself, on the cot itself. And father got up, he all tied up. He said, what are you doing? I am taking you to the master. Is this the way you expect me to follow a master? And he was a strong man. He had already hired a tonga cart, horse cart, to come and take them to the dera. The horse cart was standing outside. He picked up the whole bed with the dad on it, tied up, and brought it out and put it on the horse cart. And father screamed, what are you doing? Have you gone mad? All the neighbors came out. They said, Ishwar Singh, what's happening? He says, my dad's gone mad. I'm taking him to the hospital. And the dad said, I am not mad. He's mad. The more the dad shouted, the more people said, Ishwar Singh, take him quickly. And he said, Dad, this cart will not stop till we have reached the Dera. He said, you expect me to accept your master in these circumstances, the way you're treating me? But anyway, the cart went to the Dera, and the Ishwar Singh on his horse alongside. And there, when they reached there, strange sight, great master was sitting on a chair outside the hut, and he saw a cart coming with a man screaming, tied up, another Ishwar Singh with a horse next to it. Great master got up. What's happening? And the cart came, and Ishwar Singh said, Master, I brought my father. I've done my duty. And Ishwar Singh, are you mad to bring your father like this? And the father said, that's what I have been telling him. That he's mad, this son of mine. He's tied me up. He said, he's injured. Look at his injuries. What did you do? Ishwar Singh, how could you be so stupid and cruel to your father? Please untie him. He called some sevadars. Untie the old man and take him inside. Put some balm on him. So they untied the father and took him inside. And Ishwar Singh said, there's no chance for him to have initiation in this lifetime. Maybe he's on list B. While he was waiting outside, great master comes outside, puts his finger like this quietly and says, Ishwar Singh, now you go away for 3 days and come back after 3 days. Ishwar Singh said, 3 days? What will happen in 3 days? Even 3 months is not enough for Bapu, for my dad. But anyway, he went away. 3 days later, he comes and sees great master sitting on his chair and his father standing in front of him with his hands folded. He rubbed his eyes to be sure it's his father. And then his horse dirtied that place there. The father took off his shirt and went to clean. He said, don't you realize before his son Satguru, you are so stupid to create this dirt in front of him? And Ishwar Singh says, Bapu, is that you? Are you my dad? He said, you were so foolish, you never explained to me who he is. He is a perfect living master. I am so glad I came here. I was so lucky. Only this morning I got initiated from him. Such is the story of these masters, what they can do. We have no idea what they can do. They play tricks. They look so human. They talk to us like human beings. And inside they have immense power. They are Satpurush himself in human form. And that is why it's so wonderful to have an experience of being with the perfect living master. There is nothing like it. Nothing that I can ever think of. In this whole universe, I can't think of something better than to be in the presence of a perfect living master. And to get initiated from that perfect living master is the end of the story. They say even if you have a darshan of a perfect living master, your account is over. Your karmic account is over. After that, you are not bound by any law. If a master initiates you, your entire rest of your karma, you are accountable to master, not to any other force. The negative powers that run this universe are relieved from the responsibility the moment a human being is initiated and his soul taken care of by a perfect living master. Such is the guarantee of initiation. All the sanchit karma, the reserve karma which is being used over and over again to give us new lifetimes, even when we try to be as good as we can, are burnt and dissolved at that very time of initiation, and nothing is left. If you have to come on a next life, it's entirely based upon the actions of one life. It's always better than this life. Always more conducive to do meditation and catch up if you haven't caught up fully in one life. Such is the benefit of initiation by perfect living master. How can I praise such a master? What words are there? If I were to say thank you to my master all my life, it's not enough. Such is the power of a perfect living master. There's no comparison. There's nothing to compare with it. And I have shared these stories with you to show you the encounters with such beautiful disciples like Julian Johnson and Ishwar Singh. Some of the beautiful, I met many beautiful disciples of the great master, and I was so inspired by them. Julian Johnson was very close to master in the last few years of his life. And He took a trip with the great master. Final story for today. Rest I'll tell you tomorrow. Julian Johnson took his vacation trip with the great master to go to Kashmir. And in Kashmir, there was a photo shop. And Julian Johnson said, Master, we don't have a proper photograph of yours. I want to get a picture taken in a photo studio. And I want to keep it myself and also give it to my friends and even send them to America. They should know that God lived in human form and we could see him. I want to have that picture. So they went to the photo store. It was called Mahata and Company Photo Stores in Srinagar, Kashmir. It was on the river. The retail store opened on the river, and there was a studio in the lower floor which opened on the road behind. The main road was behind at a lower level. He parked the car with great master sitting in it and went up to the studio, to the management. The owner, one Mr. Mehta, was sitting there. He said, I have brought somebody, I want to get a picture taken. Mr. Mehta thought many tourists, American tourists and others come. They pick up this nice, beautiful girl of Kashmir dressed up in the Kashmiri dress. They take pictures of that girl or themselves with the girl. So he must have brought somebody like that. So he told his assistant, one Mr. Bawa, go and take a good picture. This American tourist has come and asked for a good picture. So they went and took a picture. He said, come after 3 days and pick up the prints from me. So after 3 days, Julian Johnson goes up to the same photo studio. And this man, Mr. Mehta, says, let me have a look at the photos if they come out good. And he sees the photograph of an old man in a turban and white beard, this kind of photograph. And he said, you have come and wasted your money on taking the picture of an old man? I thought you were taking the picture of some beautiful girl or something. And Julian Johnson says, no, this is my master. He is my Satguru. He says, you, educated American coming here, are being fooled into believing there are Sadgurus, that there are masters. All hoax stuff. They are all fake. There is no such thing as masters. What is your education? What do you do in America? He said, I am a surgeon and I am a physician. So you being a doctor are fooled by these people? How can that happen? He said, no, I am not being fooled. I have tested out. He is a real master. He said, but you are a doctor. Can I ask you a question on medical? On the medical side? He said, yes. He said, I have had a very long backache problem. What do you suggest for that? I have tried these medicines. They don't work. And Dr. Johnson says, well, I have a small clinic opened up in the Dera. If you come there, I'll treat you. He said, okay, he takes his address and eventually comes to the Dera and stays with Dr. Johnson in the same house. Dr. Johnson treats him and every morning he says, I am going for darshan. He says, how could such a bright physician, educated man, an MD, run after somebody to just have darshan? Then in the evening, I am going for satsang. He says, but the treatment was good. It was helping him in his back. So after a few days, he said, I really want to know, do you believe all these things these people talk? If I ask a few questions, will you be able to answer? He said, yes, write down your questions. So he wrote down these questions. How do you know he's a master? What is life for? What is meditation for? What does it give you? Well, how do you have proof that this is? I wrote about 10, 12 questions like this. And Johnson said, oh, good questions. If you walk with me to the satsang, I'll answer them on the way. So they start walking and he says, read your questions. So by the time he read the question, they were at the satsang. So he sat down and great master gave a discourse. And this man, Mr. Mehta, says, he is somebody who knows my mind because he's answering my questions. Half of my questions have been answered in his discourse today. He said, come once more for the other half. Then he went for a second one. So then he got initiated. Then his whole family got so worried that this Mr. Mehta was the youngest brother out of 3 brothers. He has been caught up in some ashram or somewhere. They tried to send an elder brother to bring him back, who also got caught there. The elder brother happens to be my father-in-law, by the way. This story went on, but Mr. R.C. Mehta, Ramchand Mehta, stayed with Dr. Julian Johnson. One day Julian Johnson comes dancing and laughing after visiting Great Master in his house in the evening. He said, Master has given me permission to go home. And Mr. Mehta says, are you going back to the United States? No, I'm going back home. He said, don't tell me you're going to die. He said, no, I'm not dying, I'm going home. You know, and then Julian Johnson told him this. Next week, Great Masters permitted me. Next week, a man from the American consulate in Lahore will come and he'll have an argument with me that I was a great missionary and how I departed from the work that I was doing for Christianity. And he will have a little argument, then he'll hit me. And I'll fall. And I'll fall behind this chair. At this spot, I'll hit my head. And then my body will die and I'll go home. This man, Mr. Mehta, is shocked. Are you serious about it? Are you serious this will happen? This 1 week earlier. He said, yes, that's how it will happen. Now to complete the story, that's exactly how Julian Johnson died. A man came from the consulate and there was an argument, hit him. Then the matter went up to Great Master. He said, it's accidental. So let's not proceed any further. But the fact that he was so joyful at his impending death shows what happens to us when we realize death is merely a change of form, merely a change of body. The soul never dies. The soul goes back home if you are initiated by a perfect living master. So I am happy to share these little old stories, old associations with these remarkable people. And I'll see you tomorrow. I'll do some interviews now. Thank you.